can I be the first person to comment to say bum? Look, hello everyone, hello. We are now recording and going. This is Stories from the Smoke Room. It's the lock-in version where we basically we haven't got any stories. We just talk shit for 2 hours. So to start off talking shit, Mike, Steph, you missed out on some absolute gold last night. So, Adam, explain what happened last night, because me, Anna and Hugh were having an absolute whale of a time.
I've now got to explain. What's going to inevitably happen is during the course of this, I'm going to have to explain what Danny's sex bang is. So, and what Bobby and who Bobby Broodymon is. So. Yesterday I got very bored in the evening, and I was like, I was gonna play on Twitch, and I was gonna play Alice, American McGee's Alice, but it just wouldn't capture right because it's not the proper file and it's not pirated. So instead, I was like, I'll go to my Steam library, and what's an interesting game to play? I'll see, maybe like Gary's Mod. It's just not great. I could play like the Stanley Parable, but that's quite a listening game, so that's not great for streaming.
And it hurts your
soul. I settled on, and it hurts your soul. So I settled on Dream Daddy, the dad dating sim.
It was so
which I already owned and have finished.
Right.
So I started playing it. Hannah was like, "Oh," Hannah sent me a screenshot of her phone saying, with the notification pop up, and she went, "What the hell?"
I think what I just said was, "Oh no."
Yeah. So I liked it. It's quite a really relaxing game. You're a dad. So I set up. So my wife has recently died. You're moving with your 18-year-old daughter to a new part of town. She's about to go off to college. Blah, blah, blah.
I mean,
and so
you can't deny there's like definitely stakes in there.
Oh, that was peril.
Oh yeah.
Peril. And so you move in. Then you meet all these like other dads from the cul-de-sac you live in, who are all entwined in your life somehow. And then you get to go on dates.
Full of dads.
There's the guy you knew in college, Craig, who's like the Chad. He's like the gym guy.
I didn't like Craig.
There's Brian, the kind of dad.
There's Brian now. That was the photo that went into the group chat today, which obviously Steph, Mike, you're not going to know about, but that is Brian. Brian's a bear.
I love Brian. I want him to bring me up over his head like Andre the Giant.
There was a beautiful bit where Hannah said Brian could lift her up and carry her in her arms, and I said he could lift
in The Bodyguard.
Yeah, he could lift both of us up, me and Hannah.
At the same time.
But the thing is,
one in each arm.
Yeah, Hannah would be looking into my eyes, but she'd be thinking of Brian.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Brian all day, every day.
So there's Matt, who's the kind of hipster coffee shop owner, who's great. All of his breads are named after band puns, like the banana bread Kennedys.
Yeah.
Then there's
Matt's dreamy.
I like
Hans the teacher. Yeah.
The teacher's called Hugo.
Hugo, the English teacher, he talks about poetry a lot.
Lovely to meet you. Yeah.
He's got a man bun.
What was the name of the goth?
Lucian.
Oh, Damien.
Damien, Lucian's his son.
Damien Blood March.
That was it. What did you say, Adam?
So his surname is Blood March, and I went, well, that's just what I'm going to call periods from now on. And Hannah immediately went, "You do not have them. You cannot name them."
I veto.
No vagina, no opinion.
Yeah,
how it works.
On behalf of all people who menstruate, I vetoed Damien Bloodmarch.
I think you'll find people who menstruate. There's been a debate about that. We don't call it people who menstruate anymore, do it?
Joanne!
Then on the first
catchphrase
night, you meet a shady guy in like a black leather jacket called Bobby. First of all, I called him Kenneth Broodymon. Kenneth Broodymon. And then he takes you back to yours, back to his on his first night, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, no."
He took things a bit quickly. I didn't appreciate it.
He kissed me in the step, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
He went for it.
I said no, and he was like, "That's cool. I'll see you tomorrow," or whatever. It was quite nice. And then there's the Christian guy whose wife was also drunk at the pub and trying to hit.
Yeah, Mary and Joseph.
Mary and Joseph Christensen or something. Their names are, isn't it?
I have a question. So your wife has died, and then you move into a cul-de-sac with lots of other single men, and now all of the single men. Oh, okay, all of the men who also have wives are now trying to sleep with you.
No, only one of them's got a wife, and they're having marital trouble.
Clearly, she's drinking a lot.
So
Mary's drinking a lot.
To try and hit on you. I'm very confused.
You get to choose.
She gets drunk and she meets you in a bar and she's like flirting with you and you're like,
oh, she's flirting with you. Okay, I thought it was him.
Or he is as well.
No, he's as well.
So they're trying to get you into like a throuple.
No,
I think that because they're having
Loftus has got all the terminology.
Yeah. So like Mary's drinking heavily and like making a pass at other men in the bar without him knowing. And so what will probably happen, I imagine, is that like, you know, she'll leave and you'll be there to pick up the pieces with Joseph.
So what's the goal?
Beams is following us.
Find a nice man friend.
Thank you, Beams. Yeah. Nice to see you, man.
For want of a better word, can you finish it? Like,
no, you can. You finish it.
I think it depends on what choice you pick.
Both of them. So you end up going on a social media platform called Dadbook, and then from Dadbook you can chat to the dads. And if you go on 3 dates, you can go on 2 dates, all the dads. Once you get up on the 3rd date,
why are you suddenly dating all of the dads? Why haven't you gone for a new wife?
You get to dip your finger in all the pies.
No, it's
and then you pick which one you like best.
Also, the game is called.
Confused.
The game is called Dream Daddy, the dad dating sim.
Yes.
I mean, I should have guessed it.
It's a gay dad dating sim.
But they're
my personal.
So were they married and like it was like a secret for them, or did the wife die and then they suddenly realize? Like there are so many questions.
I don't think the characters have got that thought out a backstory. I think it's just like there's a hot guy, there's a hot guy, there's a hot guy. Let's all have a barbecue with all the hot guys.
That's what I want. But a minute for the backstory and the.
I was exactly going to do these. Like, you got to think about character arcs.
Can I just point out one of the best things about it is watching Adam play, because it's like it's an interactive comic book, isn't it? Really, and all the text is spelled out.
Dave sounds like Siobhan from Perfect Curve in W1A.
Thank you. But Adam does separate voices for all of the characters.
Yeah, that was the fun bit of it,
I had to take notes of what voices I'd given everyone.
Yeah.
Because
there were so many dads by the end.
Yeah.
It sort of
but we've decided that... Go on, Mikey.
It sort of feels like a slightly more progressive Love Island, but in a cul-de-sac.
Love cul-de-sac.
It's just nicer.
Gay love cul-de-sac.
That's a channel. That's something Channel 4 would do.
Gay love cul-de-sac.
I wanted to like to chat with Matt more because his character's the most interesting. But these two, so Hannah and Dave, were like, no, Brian, date Brian.
Look, right. What you haven't said is that Brian has a pet corgi.
Oh well, there you go. That is the deciding factor.
I mean, look at him. He's a dream.
Look at him. He could pick you up above his head like Andre the Giant.
He's a dream.
All I'm learning from this is if I put on, all I have to do is like do some workout and I will look like that. So cheers, everyone.
Will you pick me up above your head like Andre the Giant? Because
the chat.
If I work out, the chat is talking about. The chat's going on about the pigeon dating sim.
Pigeon dating?
What?
Yeah.
Can I just say,
you're a pigeon.
The chat is fucking rocking tonight. Hello, everyone.
What can I say?
Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Pigeon dating sim. Okay, so
pigeon.
Hatto full boyfriend.
Steph's googling it right now.
A School of Hope and White Wing, the Japanese soft visual novel. So yeah, you're a pigeon trying to find love.
Oh.
I mean, that's going to fill a few nights, I'll be honest.
I literally just opened my mouth to say, is it on Steam? But already Kirsty Wheeling had provided a handy link. Yeah. Open a new tab.
Okay. See, Lloydie agrees with me. I like a barbecue with all the hot guys. I agree, Lloydie. It sounds fun, especially as one of the people there is very, very good at a barbecue.
Yeah,
yeah. Right. You pick up barbecue tips. That was one of the things we did at the barbecue. One of.
Oh, I played mini golf against Brian and won.
One of.
What I want to know is,
and I was genuinely angry at how seriously I took it.
Yeah, he was very angry. He was very angry about the mini golf.
Yeah, what I want to know.
Adam, that is not Brian. Brian was very gracious.
Go on, Mike.
I want to know when the fanfic is on the way.
Yes.
I can assure you, there is loads.
What are they like when the game is
loads?
See?
So I spent 2.5 hours of my life yesterday doing that.
Genuinely.
2.5 hours.
I sat there for 2 hours just watching you do it.
I really wish I'd logged on now.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
This is the thing, because every so often he had choices to make. And I felt he was making the wrong choices, but I thought, I know he'd be great at this. Loftus would fucking rock this.
The single person who has a terrible dating life, of course, put me on a dating sim for everyone.
Start making choices.
Yeah. Let's see where Steph goes wrong. Let's stick her in a simulator and we can all sit and judge. No, I'm not playing that. I was watching The Lion King. Not the new one, because that's terrible. I was watching the old ones. And I watched one, and I watched 1.5, and I watched 2, and it was fantastic. Yeah.
It's 1.5.
No, 1.5. No, 1.5 is 1.5. But it can't. No, it's not. No, 1.5 is in between the two.
Lion?
No, you don't have half a lion. It's the story of Timon and Pumbaa and how they fit in. And it's the best. No, but it's called 1.5.
But in order, if you were doing it in chronological.
It's the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to the Lion King's Hamlet.
Yeah, but like if we were doing Star Wars in order of release date, it'd be 1, 2. Yeah, but it's not.
4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3.
But luckily, that's not how. Luckily, that's not how most films are done.
Never seen Star Wars all the way through.
Get out of the chat, Mike. Get out.
Unlock the room. He's out.
Sorry. No, I'm with Mike on this because I think the problem is I have yet to meet a Star Wars fan who likes Star Wars. Whenever they say no, there's always caveats to it. I like Star Wars, but I don't like this film, and I don't like this film, and I don't like.
You're allowed to rank them, but like I don't like Jar Jar Binks. I think he's pointless.
I don't like how they redid the old ones to make them look more like the shit ones. Like, just stop doing that. Leave it alone.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, the whole.
I've never seen. I think I've seen.
Oh, you're breaking up, Adam.
Seen what?
No, I stopped. I've not seen like 3 more than once. I think I saw 3 once and went.
Yeah,
it's the same as the first one again.
So hang on, are we talking about 3 that's actually
6
or 3 that's actually 3?
Oh, I thought you meant episode 3.
6.
I was like, why would you watch that more than once?
No. I've seen episodes. Fine, episode 6. Stupid fucking Disney. Is fine. They're fine. They're okay. I think the first 3 get too much hate. The third one gets the hate it deserves. The first one's just long and fine. But 4 and 5 and 6 aren't great. The acting in 4 is just chunky. They're not great films.
I think we had this conversation the other night, Steph. I think 5, Empire, is brilliant.
The original trilogy are great, but then was 4, 5, and 6 that became 1, 2, and 3? Like, yeah. Like, there's so many times I have to...
Too many numbers.
I have to Google things to go, well, hang on a second. How old are that? Like, I accidentally... Well, I watched the Solo story the other week and then stupidly went, well, hang on a second. If he's that old in this one, how old is he by the time he meets Leia? And now I don't like Harrison Ford.
My favourite one is
Step off,
Rogue One.
right?
Hold
Let's
on.
just step
Hold
off that
on.
statement.
Okay.
Hold on,
No,
right
now.
I don't. No, it's not that I don't like Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford is
Okay.
God.
Say,
But what I don't like is Han Solo, because it kind of I googled the answer and then went, because Leia's like late teens and he's like mid-40s or something around that age. So yeah, the whole bit where he's like up in her face, like being all smooth, make me like, ugh. Like it changes things, is what I'm saying. Because then you can't look at those scenes and be like, oh, Leia, just give in to him. He's lovely. Why wouldn't you like a roguish boy like that when it's not a boy? He's an old
Steph,
man.
there's a message for you from the chat, which is rate Harrison Ford appearances in order of daddy.
I'm gonna need. I need a.
There's a distinction between Indiana Jones when he's in his teaching clothes and when he's in his I'm adventuring clothes.
Just
the
all
level
of
of
them.
daddy changes.
Just all of them. Like I don't like. I love him.
What?
Years ago, I went to the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and the only thing I remember of that film was in this poor old lady nearly fell downstairs in the cinema. It was
in the cinema, right? Okay.
Okay.
Because I missed that bit.
You see, I've got to be honest, Mike. I fully understand that old people hurting themselves in the cinema is more exciting than anything in Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls. But the one thing in that film that is fused into my brain like some sort of nightmare is the vines sequence.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the fridge.
Oh God, I forgot about the fridge. Oh God, that's bad, isn't it? Oh God, that's so bad.
I feel like we all conveniently forget Kingdom of the Crystal Skull exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget all the time.
When we think about Indiana Jones, we just sort of like sketch it from our brains.
It's all I'm here for, guys, is just to bring up really awkward things.
I got really angry that aliens were involved. And you're like, how are you angry at a series where aliens involved where literally the Ark of the Covenant is in one? You can't be angry at God being in it and not be angry at aliens. Like, you just can't. You can't pick and choose what nonsense you're having in the film.
I think the thing that annoyed everyone was like at the end, like every single Indiana Jones, there was a treasure, and then at the end they were like, knowledge is the real treasure, and everyone kind of went, no, we wanted a thing.
I want an
treasure
object.
was the friends we made across the way.
That reminds me of an old VHS I had as a kid. I think it might have been like Dave Benson Phillips. Remember him? Yeah, where these kids and Dave Benson Phillips went on a treasure hunt, right? This treasure hunt lasted like an hour and 45 minutes. And then at the end, literally, the treasure is like a mirror they held up to see themselves because they had the treasure.
No, I'd love the mirror. I'd love the mirror at whoever organised that treasure hunt.
Oh my God.
It's still the most infuriating thing ever.
Oh my God, I need to see it though, just for the kids' faces to be like, cool. I'm the treasure.
I can't sell this to buy a Game Boy.
At one point,
I wanted Pokemon Red.
Say again, Mike.
We all wanted Pokemon.
They all sung the frog chorus at one point. I remember for no apparent reason.
I need to find this. It sounds amazing.
That was God. We are scraping the barrel of pop culture here. It's the shit Star Wars films, the shit Indiana Jones films, bad kids documentaries, and now the shit Paul McCartney song.
Okay then, so go through it. What's a good sequel?
Godfather 2.
Everyone says Godfather 2. You can't have that.
Aliens.
The Raid 2.
The Raid 2.
Aliens.
Paddington 2. Have you seen that?
Oh, I haven't. But I've heard
yes.
Brilliant. I've heard it's brilliant.
Very good.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, genuinely good. Also, Mary Poppins Returns.
Oh, I haven't
Right.
seen that.
Everyone
Return
says
to
that's
Oz.
awful, and I love it.
Yeah. Who are you
Toy
talking
Story.
to, Steph? Because
Like,
they are
I don't
wrong.
know. I don't talk to them anymore because their opinions are wrong.
Like, how can
That's
all
low.
the songs are great, and there's so many little like references to the original, and then Angela Lansbury pops up at the end, holding balloons. I mean,
Oh,
how more perfect to get?
From the
I
chat.
cry every time at that song.
From the chat, Toy Story.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
John
They
Wick.
I'd
actually
argue.
get more like sad as they go along, don't they? I've not seen the latest one, but
Toy Story 1, amazing. Toy Story 2, it was okay. I did not like Toy Story 3. I thought it was awful.
But
And then Toy Story 4 was a bit. Toy Story 4, he kind of gives up on every single principle he's ever had.
Fight, 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 fight.
But
I think
they're really sad, and they all look at each other, and they're going sliding down the thing, and it's like,
Your lack of empathy can only mean one thing.
No, not a Tory.
did someone else just get Toried and not me?
It's not that. It's just
No,
that,
it
like,
wasn't a full Tory.
like all the films build up with I need to be like kids are the most important thing, like I need to be with the kids at, like, that's my purpose in life, and at the end he's like,
But they get a
Yeah,
new
'cause he's
kid.
no longer a
don't they?
kid.
hypocrite. Woody is a hypocrite.
In the end of 3, you realise Andy's no longer a child and doesn't need him. He has better work to do somewhere
So
else.
he finds his purpose elsewhere, but then is I don't want to reveal just in case no one's seen Toy Story 4, but
Oh, yeah.
spoilers,
I haven't seen 4.
Woody is a hypocrite.
A spoiler for a film that's what, 20 years
the
old?
genuinely interesting thing about
It's not
Toy Story
20 years
2
old. Toy Story 4 was like 2 years ago, wasn't it? Less than that.
Steph,
I'm
It's,
an
yeah,
old
it's not
Steph.
very long ago.
Do I need
Kirsty's
to let it
requested,
go?
Kirsty's requested that you rate Tories in order of most daddy.
I don't know anything. I don't know enough Tories.
And that's the correct answer.
Yes.
Come on,
There
no,
you
come
go.
on, Steph. You know enough.
Oh, no,
John
the only
Selwyn
two,
Gummer. Where does he go?
John Selwyn Gummer.
like I know Boris Johnson.
Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Oh, the haunted pencil.
The haunted pencil.
The haunted pencil. He's Slender Man. Let's face it. Like, he's great.
Taking his little limbs out into the woods.
Let's go to the law of Slenderman and confirm this. Really, really tall and thin. Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Dead face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hunts children for their organs.
Yeah.
Not conclusively proven, but we get the idea. Yeah.
But you wouldn't be shocked if that came out.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
If they could only maintain human form by drinking a slurry made from the poo, it would explain Tory
Soylent
party
Green.
policy for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
40 years, 50
We know
years.
some
And then
of
the
those
other-
people. We love it.
Like, let's think
Yum.
of some other Tories. David Cameron,
Why are we naming Tories?
because they want me to
No, he's
rate
not-
them,
he's
and
not.
None of them are daddies.
Where does Theresa May fall on the daddy
Oh,
scale?
apart from, yeah.
yeah, out of all of them, she's probably the highest.
Michael Gove.
No,
Oh
No.
no, it's like an
No.
old bit of bacon.
According,
Looks like a balloon that,
That man
like, got
is
partially
terrible.
deflated.
according to Pop Bitch, the kind of scandal news email newsletter you can subscribe to. It's
I thought that was going to be someone in the chat.
No,
Then
no.
I thought that was too
No.
cheesy.
It's like-
According to Pop
It's like-
Bitch 91.
Yeah, it's a celebrity gossip email newsletter. It's basically where
right.
the Daily Mail and the Sun get all the stories from.
Is it like the Onion?
No, you could be yeah,
No.
no. But according to Pop Bitch, people have written to them saying they have stood next to Michael Gove in the urinal, and he's mahoosive apparently.
Yeah,
We all knew
yeah,
it was
of course
a
they
massive
have.
dick, yeah.
People,
I didn't need
sources
that
say,
image.
sources say, maybe his journalist wife, sources say, like, fuck off,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
get out of here.
Is the source Michael Gove?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just
Lloydie
doing whisper
has said in the
campaigns about
chat,
himself.
I've met Michael Gove. I had to show him around my work, and I can assure you he's not a daddy.
See? He's like
What-
a partially deflated balloon.
No, he's like someone's polished a ham with smug.
No, he is exactly like Pob, though, but the young people won't remember that. Dave, do you remember Pob?
I remember Pob, yeah. He does look just
He's
like
exactly like Pob.
I misheard that then.
I'll Google it.
I misheard that then.
Yeah, Google Pob.
As in
Who's
Jarvis Pocker.
It was a kid's TV thing, and he would come up to the screen and like breathe on the screen and then write his name in it, Pob.
Yes.
It looks exactly like him,
Yes.
right?
In fact, I reckon there's going to be a website.
There you go, Pob.
Michael Gove looks like.
Oh, I love websites like that. Have you
Yeah.
been
Right.
I have a
BuzzFeed
theory that a
have an
political leader
article.
looks like a toad. They're a bad person, and I agree.
what?
Toad people do not make good leaders.
What's
Unless
upset?
it's in a Cthulhu world.
So there's a BuzzFeed article that is 21 things that remind the internet of Michael Gove. Number 1, Michael Gove looks like a prince who can't be exposed to sunlight. Number 2, Michael Gove looks like he's doing an impersonation of Harry Enfield doing an impersonation of Michael Gove.
Oh my god, yeah, the 2 steps removed impression.
Do you want me to keep going?
Yes.
Is one of them a startled shallot? Because that's what I think.
Michael Gove looks like a baby who lives in perpetual fear that people are about to realise he's a baby. Michael Gove looks like he's on the verge of turning back into a toy.
He's like half gone.
Michael Gove looks like he's the sort of man who keeps hold of all the Sudokus he's completed, even cutting them out of the Daily Express.
I see it.
How else do you frame them?
Oh, exactly. That was not very good. Oh, they've got the pub.
Pob.
Yay, Pob.
Yeah.
Pob.
Michael Gove looks like the type of kid at school who asked the teacher if there was any homework.
Oh, what
Michael
a penis.
Gove looks like the character from Noddy who's always sad.
Oh no, now I'm looking at these pictures of Michael Gove drinking water that Lloydie kindly provided for us.
Wow.
Oh, why does he shut his eyes while he's doing...
Sorry, I was. Oh dear me, that's bad, isn't it?
Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Michael Gove looks like a fish that's been turned into a human by a Disney witch. Oh, there's another reference I don't get. Michael Gove looks like Mooncat.
Mooncat.
Mooncat. Chat? Anyone in the chat know anything about Mooncat?
Oh.
I mean,
I mean, he
wrong.
does. He does. There's no doubt about
Whatever
it.
it is, I don't like it.
That's
Michael Gove looks like something Mario would have to jump on 3 times to defeat.
He's already thrown his shell at you.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's
Oh,
quite
yeah.
low on
He
the
is
daddy
just an
scale.
unshelled tortoise, isn't he? Oh.
My cat's walked away in disgust.
Would you not say things like that when I take a drink of tea?
Sorry.
We're having a heart attack again.
I can't believe I'm not on the show. This is a record.
You did get hiccups last time, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear
that-
me.
Michael Gove looks like the evil spirits gave up melting his face in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Thanks, Gopi.
Michael Gove just looks like he cries a lot.
He does. He looks
Probably at his own reflection, if he had one. Because let's face it, he's defo a vampire.
There was
No,
something...
because vampires have charisma.
Yeah, but instead of sucking like blood, he sucks the life out of the room. Like,
Oh, the Mo Molan effect.
You're not thinking of Mal Marlin. Mal Marlin was wonderful.
I'm not. Yeah, she. Oh, who am I thinking
Who are
of?
you
Absolute
thinking of?
asshole. Now it's UKIP.
What other bizarre MPs have we stood next to?
There was...
I
that
stood
was
next
good.
to.
He's talking about
Oldrick
Anne Widdecombe.
in a
Ooh, Anne
that
Widdecombe.
ass.
Anne Widdecombe. No.
Yeah, I've stood. I've stood next to Lembit Opik.
Ew.
Was there a cheeky girl in the vicinity?
Is that the one that dated a chick? I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
You did.
And because his career was such a joke,
'cause
he
he
tried
was-
stand-up for a while.
Was he not also
He was
in the
MP for.
on the flip?
Pardon?
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah, you
On
think
I'm
he
a
was,
Celeb.
yeah.
He lost
I
his seat and was on Have I Got News for You that night, didn't he? When he'd just lost his seat.
Lloydie
remember
I bet they were
JL.
all really supportive.
Lloydie JL has said in the chat, I've stood next to lots of MPs. What do you need to know? I'll tell you what we need to know.
Yeah, but you got.
Hold on.
What
Hold
does
on.
he
No. Call back to last week's show. We need to know what they smell like.
What did he
Start with that.
Because.
And
Sorry.
is Hannah taller than them?
Kirsty's got a comment up. Not a politician, but I panic yelled, J.K. Rowling at Jacqueline Wilson.
I used to live near Jacqueline Wilson, and you'd see her quite often, and she always looked so angry all the time. It was like,
Did she
oh,
ask
I
you
don't
to
ever want to.
leave? Was that what
No,
it was?
she. I used to just see her like in the shop and things.
I once bumped into Pete Postlethwaite in Church Stretton, and he was
Did you say
perfectly
that
lovely.
Did you just say that because you get to say the word postal?
There is that as well, yeah. I mean,
I want to say that all the time.
Lloydie JL is drawing up a short list of politicians by smell. So
Thanks, Lloydie.
We've got.
I've sat on Al Murray's lap.
Was he voluntary
There's a
from his point of
photograph
view?
of. Oh yeah, he slapped his knee for me to go and sit on.
Was it? Was it like,
That makes it
Yeah.
instantly creepy.
yeah.
Right, okay. So I went to see a show, and there was like a sign thing, a total merchandise ploy. If you buy a T-shirt, the first so many people to buy a T-shirt get to meet him after the show. So me and my brother were like, let's buy a T-shirt. And then so we went afterwards, and we all queued up. And then as it was my turn, I was with my dad, and we were stood next to it, and he went, come on then, and slapped his knee, and I went, okay then, and just sat on his lap, and was very conscious of me sitting on his lap, because I was like, he won't be able to complete the rest of his tour because I'll break his leg. So I'm kind of hovering above his knee, and and there is a photograph of me hovering above,
squatting over Al Murray.
I'll tell you what, I'm more than willing to find said photograph and put it on our Instagram.
Do it.
Yeah,
Someone do it.
I would like that.
Do it.
I will find it.
Follow
I was
us.
hovering above Al Murray.
Chat
That
room.
time I was hovering above Al Murray.
Chat room. Follow us on Instagram. Instagram.com/stories from the smoke room. I'll tell you what I forgot to mention again.
Hello.
If you think what we're doing tonight is worth a coffee, you can buy us a coffee at that Ko-fi site, and the link's at the bottom of the screen. Look, Ko-fi.com/stories from the smoke room. Give us money.
Yeah. We're all artists. This is art.
There was something else. There was something else I wanted to. There was something else I wanted to bring up as well. Adam.
Yeah.
Improv.
Yeah. What about it?
You posted that link to a blog on your site, so I thought it was written by you about improv, and it wasn't written by you. It was written by someone else. But it was very good.
I reblogged.
We got plagiarism.
It was
I reblogged it on WordPress.
Oh,
okay.
It was one from. Oh, I forgot his name. The guy who talks about how he was part of Allison, and he talks about how improv has a problem.
Mike Wallace, is it?
Improv hates itself. Yeah.
It's very good.
I'd recommend everyone read it because it's great.
if I was in improv,
Just talks about.
if I was in improv and had a blog, I would call it InBlog.
You see, this is why improvers have got problems, because they can't come up with ideas like that.
The gist of the article is pretty much summed up in: is improv just a bit shit?
I haven't
Which I don't
read
think
it.
it is, but I think I think mediocre improv is shit, and a lot of improv is mediocre.
Mealing's just bought us a coffee. Thank you, Mealing.
Oh,
Yay!
I prefer hot
I'm
chocolate.
going to buy one of those cushions that has glitter on it, and when you rub it, it's got. I'm going
Yay! One coffee, 5 straws.
One coffee, 5 straws.
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh, that sounds like a...
That's a porn title.
Sharing
That's
is
beautiful.
caring. We've got some smelly MPs.
Oh, a smell update.
Okay then, smell update. Eric Pickles smells of stale Ritz crackers.
As you would
Disgusting.
imagine.
Makes sense.
Paddy Ashdown smelt of butch cologne and charisma.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah.
Boris
Just
Johnson.
oozing off him.
Boris Johnson smells of talc. Someone else has said that.
That's so on brand. That's so on brand.
Someone else has said that.
God, maybe he's an adult baby.
I'm not saying.
Carcinogen.
I'm not saying that Lloydie has stolen that. I think he genuinely does smell of talc because I've heard other people say that.
Yeah.
Michael Gold seemed to have no
Multiple
smell at all, so I wondered if he was
Because
was
he's a
from another
vampire.
dimension. Yeah.
Alien. Yeah. Yeah.
Lizard.
Yeah.
He really does smell of talc.
The good thing about that, though, is that the good thing about that, because talc is carcinogenic. So.
Oh. Maybe he's got
I'm playing
dark
the long
hair,
game.
really, and he just
Hang on.
makes himself look more affable with a sprinkling of talc.
Talc is carcinogenic.
Slightly.
In
It's because
large quantities.
You're still breathing it. You're still breathing in particles.
So it's like breathing in tiny bits of chalk.
Yeah, you have to talc like a lot.
You have to like
That'd be a problem.
down a vat of
But
talc.
if the man smells of it and he has nothing else to do with his time apart from be a terrible human being.
Right, is this like when people say you can get high on bananas? And then
You can, but you have to roll the bananas in weed.
So it's not the bananas that are doing that.
No,
Oh,
you know when you peel a banana, the inside of the skin. Yeah.
Pith.
Yes. Apparently it's that.
I learned that word. It's hilarious.
You need 15 pound of bananas. And the recipe
She just
said,
applied some drugs. Yeah.
the recipe said take 15 pound of bananas, eat the bananas. It's like, how much do you think I like bananas?
Surely you just have like a potassium overdose and that would just do the trick.
And then it was like you get a very, very mild high.
It's a lot of it.
And then you
Get
spend the
some
next
weed.
2 years in the toilet because you've just eaten 15 pound of bananas.
Yeah.
And you set off airport
Don't do
metal detectors.
bananas, kids.
Yeah.
Don't do bananas.
Beamsy said, I mean, you can get high on anything if you stack
So
it
a
high
mate of
enough.
mine, the best way to get high.
Hey,
Hey! Can you? Yeah, Matt is daddy. Mate of mine used to claiming to get high by smoking catnip.
No.
Right.
No.
Does catnip really send cats do lally?
Yes. Doesn't send my cat thing, Lally, but my mate's cat. She has sent me
100%.
many a video with the cat just lie flat on his back in the middle of the living room, just having the time of his life.
Yeah,
She's
it's
made the
some and not
catnip
others,
into
isn't
tea.
it?
What is it like? What is it supposed to do?
It's a plant, and it's just like a
It's in the mint family, isn't it? It's
something like
But
that.
it-
And like if
it's
they
supposed to
if
make 'em
they
high,
ingest
isn't
it or
Mint
they
is
can
a-
smell it, it makes them quite like just
you
like
can get like
zen,
a toy mouse that's full of it, and they get all like zoned out on it. But
Yeah.
my cat doesn't care about it. He
But
doesn't.
not
do it.
every cat is like
Yeah.
enthusiastic about.
Because your cat only hunts.
A lot of
As
cats,
someone,
a lot of
someone
cats I know like tobacco rather than catnip, and that makes me sound like I'm really sad. Like I have lots of cat friends. Like
all my cat friends, and I'm offering them roll-ups all the time. Like, would Sir care for?
if I have mates around, my cats are more attracted to the tobacco bag in someone's handbag than they are to the catnip I buy.
Yeah.
Steph, let Mikey talk.
Sorry.
Is there a cat named Peterful? It was funny because. You know when you're saying something, and as you say it, you know it immediately.
Oh man, sorry, Mike.
Oh.
If you don't try, you never know how it.
You've got to take risks. You've got to take risks.
On the actual internet. Oh my.
Bloody ableists, Mike. Bloody ableists.
Yeah, sorry, I'll leave.
But I still don't really understand why you'd want to give your cat hallucinogenic.
I don't think they hallucinate. I think they just chill out.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know, do we? We can't.
Well, yeah, we can't ask them.
Yeah, so they could. In fact, that was another thing about the gay dating app yesterday. Was that one of the dads had a little baby? Yeah, had a baby.
Oh yeah, the baby. Yeah.
The baby is off its tits. It's like it's doing this.
Its eyes were like.
It's absolutely off its tits. I don't know.
Back to the sim. Kirsty's act, because there's a game called Bee Simulator where you get to be a bee. Of any animal, what simulator would you want to play? Stumped them.
I'm
Swift.
Right.
That's two different ends of that spectrum there.
Oh my god, did we just name two deadly sins or something?
I feel like if you were a sloth, you could make them do something, then like pop off and make your dinner, then come back and like it's cool. Like I feel like any other game you'd have to be really invested in if it was
the cricket of video games.
Yeah.
So
you could just wander off, have a cup of tea, come back, nothing's really happened.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do that with normal video games by hitting the pause button, couldn't you?
Yep.
Not the same though.
No.
I wouldn't mind a wasp simulator because I don't understand them. I don't know what their purpose is.
You want to try and get into the mindset?
Maybe I can find out why they exist. Other than
just be
annoying
the angriest game.
There's wasps.
They eat like
wasps are Dave Pitt of the insect world.
Weird.
There is a wasp simulator for phones. Is it really like one of those crap really simple games you could get, which is just trying to hoard all your data. But yeah, you go around and just sting people.
No. I want to get invested in a wasp simulator.
I want to play Wasp Noir that Kirsty Mealing just invented, and I want it to be that I'm a wasp, but I'm also a hardened PI with a drink problem, and I have to solve the murder of my only love, but also I'm a wasp.
If there is someone who wants to commission me to write a Christmas show next year,
oh god, this room's too
dry.
The
air's really dry.
You have just done Wasp Noir. That's amazing.
It's gonna be a musical.
Would the murderer be a hornet or a bumblebee? Would you think it was a hornet and then it's the bumblebee?
No, you couldn't have a bumblebee because bumblebees die after they sting.
Bumblebee murderer would be awful.
That's what they want.
Unless it was like a true crime of passion.
Hornets are terrifying.
I was always told that bees die when they sting you, but they don't.
No, they don't.
Not all the time. They have to really jab you.
If they let the sting go in you.
I once knelt on a wasp sting.
Ow.
So it's funny because Dad had it's when I was really young. So Dad had attacked this wasp and sort of split the wasp in half, found the head, and then days later, guess who found the sting?
Oh.
Oh.
Absolute joyous, really is. Really is.
I was once in the queue for a ride at Drayton Manor, and a wasp landed on my hand, and I went, and I hit it and broke the wasp in half as I hit it.
Ow.
And it was just the back end of the wasp, and I saw the sting shake and go into my flesh. And I was like, you fucking idiot. And it
was like a post-death attack.
Yeah. I was.
You reminded. You've reminded me of one of the awkward
I've just seen what Meaning's put in the chat. Oh god. Oh, that's turned my stomach.
A bee once fell asleep in my severely allergic friend's belly button.
A bee once fell asleep in my severely allergic friend's belly button.
How did it get in there? Why was it so calm?
Oh no!
I mean, but bees are really chill, so they'll just fall asleep and keep. Have you seen the pictures of bees falling asleep in plants and their little fluffy butts covered in pollen?
Yeah, that is cool. They're not in a belly button, in a flower where they should be.
Can I please ask the chat if their friend was all right?
A little nap and then flew away.
It genuinely nuzzled in.
Beams, he's put, what were they allergic to? That's quite true, because I'm assuming they're allergic to bees, but if they were allergic to paracetamol, then it doesn't really make much difference.
This whole thing of like people being cut in half and then killing someone, it reminds me of that. There was an Orkney king. There was
we
an
weren't
Orkney
talking
king.
about people.
Yeah, well, wasp people are all the same. They're all dicks. There was an Orkney king who killed a rival and cut his head off and put the head on the strap on next to the saddle. And as he was riding, the head scratched him with his teeth. The wound got infected and he died.
Oh,
that's like your wasp smacking you in half and then.
Yeah, his name's like Thorfinn Skull Splitter or something.
But, like, did the head
They
come
never
back
did,
alive
actually.
and like give him a bit of a nibble, or was it?
No,
was
it
it
just
like,
as he was riding. Like that, riding. That's what riding looks like.
The phrase becoming nibble in relation to a wasp is hilarious.
Wow.
Like someone's head just going, take that. And then like
take that.
Oh,
it wasn't Scooby-Doo.
I can almost feel the belly button. I can almost feel the bee in my belly button. It's horrible.
I know, I keep going like,
So we've gone from, when people talk about spiders that eventually you feel like they're crawling on you. So now the conversation of bees, Dave's just going to have a really itchy, perilous belly button.
And also being fat as well, I have got quite a capacious belly button. You know what I mean?
Capacious? I'm not sure that's even a word.
It is now.
yeah.
I have a dictionary.
It's not one bee, it's a whole hive.
It's in Importance of Being Earnest. There's something about a capacious handbag.
Have you got the film The Hive there?
Handbag? That was the only thing I remember.
A capacious handbag.
Something like that.
Oh, right.
That's the only thing I remember from studying Importance of Being Earnest.
That's the only important bit in it.
I was
the only
in
important bit in the whole
like
play.
quite a bad production of it once, and I was Gwendolyn, and literally like all the old people in the audience say your lines along with you. It's the weirdest thing because all the lines are so like well known by a certain level of people, so you can hear people saying it at the same time. It's weird.
I think that's sort of the same as like Streetcar, isn't it? Everyone knows it so well.
Yeah, that it's like.
Stella!
These Shakespeare's like that people like.
Joanne!
I was in Hamlet at uni, and so basically because I was like a bit nervous and stuff. When I get nervous, I put a lot of weight on my foot plate to my chair, and obviously I put too much weight on, or if they were loose anyway. And during this monologue with me being Polonius, my foot plate fell. And it, like, because it threw me, like...
It would, yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally parts of you falling off.
Yeah, I thought, I've got a line here. And I don't remember it. And it's not like you can, like, improv... Shakespeare, after it.
You've reminded me when we did Richard III at LUT, Leicester University Theatre, and someone forgot. He knew he had to leave, but he couldn't remember his work. He went, "Oh, I'm bored of this," and just walked off. It was like, okay.
Bye then.
What was hilarious was, for the rest of the show, i.e. just like until I died, what I had to do was to make sure my foot, because I was being pushed in a manual wheelchair by other people, because it was a directorial decision,
Right.
I had to make sure that my foot wasn't dragging on the floor so it didn't catch. So I just spent the whole rest of the show with basically my legs sort of slightly more raised than the other one. So it was
Oh my God.
I'm trying to keep the top half in character, but the bottom half just doesn't give a
It's just like,
Can you imagine if that was the review? If that was the review. Mikey was great. His top half, his bottom half was just
his top half was fully in character.
The top half was brilliant. His bottom half just wasn't with it at all.
Somebody's mum was like, "Oh, it was a really great directorial decision to put Polonius in a wheelchair." And his acting was really great. And the person in the cast was like, "Yeah, Mike's got the cerebral palsy." Oh, well, maybe his acting wasn't great after.
Did she think you were going full Daniel Day-Lewis?
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
Oh God, somebody's mum. Going back to the word capacious, I've got the definition, and it is definitely my belly button.
Is that what it says? Because the Oxford Dictionary is really going downhill.
It is the proper one. Capacious, adjective, having a lot of space inside, roomy.
Aww. Roomy.
So,
I'll be honest, no one wants to.
What
No
that
one
says
wants to hear the word. You've got a roomy belly button.
What that says is, it is absolutely not any sort of accessible toilet. Ever.
Mike!
I'm now trying to imagine Dave's belly button being described by like a real estate agent.
It's quite a capacious space.
It's got a capacious belly button here. You can knock this straight through to the intestine and put it in an office, maybe, or perhaps a downstairs loo, just to replace the other one.
You could rhyme it with some wonderful words, couldn't you? Like,
I've Dion Dublin wandering around inside.
It's a starter belly button, as they would say to first-time buyers.
Get you on the ladder of belly buttons. You need to start off somewhere.
£120,000 or 400 quid a month.
have we still got viewers?
We have.
Apparently.
How many?
7.
Some.
Adam.
Oh, yes.
Adam.
Gone.
Improv. we got sidetracked by we got sidetracked by belly buttons. Adam, improv.
Oh, it's because
tell us why improv shit.
Because it's not shit. So I'll
No,
drag up
it's
the
not.
article.
No, it's
again. It's the article, the blog, what it talks about mostly is how improv is really, really crap at marketing itself. Massively. Like really shit at marketing as a whole. Luckily, we have a man in the chat who runs the improv podcast, whose name has escaped me. Sorry, Lloydie. Oh my god, the Improv Chronicle.
The Improv Chronicle podcast.
Improv Chronicle podcast. But yeah, I agree with what most of the blog said, which was that improv is really, really bad at marketing itself. A lot of the time, a lot of improv is crap. It's a really, once it goes bad for performers, it's a terrible, really hard spiral to get out of. And it should at least kind of look at stand-up in the way that stand-up markets itself and try and work a bit closer to that possibly. Because every improv group does it, is that we'll perform somewhere, whichever group I'm with, and you'll watch someone and you'll go, oh, they're good, cool, and this better, this better, this better. Then you'll go on and go, no, I'm the best. I'm perfect.
I've never thought that in my life.
No. But we no, neither have I. But we know people who have. Don't.
Yeah. We do know people who.
And it's just like it mentions something really good, which is like, yeah, it's a really good article.
I'll tell you after.
Everyone should read it. Improv needs help.
You say there's a lot of things on Mock the Week and stuff where people think it's improv and it's not. It's rehearsed.
That's just stand up.
Yeah, that's just stand up. But there is a stand up show called Setlist, and the comedians literally have a screen behind them, and a word comes up, and they have to do a routine on that word, and they've no idea what's coming up.
I did a show like that.
Tony Law's my favourite.
You may have done.
Yeah, we had to, for Comic Relief, we had 2 teams, and you had to wear something, and then you had to fit a word in. So I had to wear boxing gloves, and which was great because I'm a person who likes to pick up the microphone and walk around, which I could not do anymore. So like my whole set was now just broken because I was stood still. But I will tell you, my team won. But yeah, so, like. But yeah, like it was the worst thing ever. Someone else had to wear like fairy wings, which I really wanted.
Aww.
But if you go on YouTube and search Setlist, stand up with that in there. Tony Law's one is just the fucking best thing I've ever seen.
Well, why I brought that up, Al Murray, funnily enough, did Setlist as pub landlord, and it was Scott Ambrose. It was. I mean, I always really enjoyed Scott Ambrose's comedy, but I know it wasn't for everybody. But that guy took some real risks on stage, didn't he, Steph? And you've got to love him for the risks he took on stage. And he still does risks now on Twitter.
Did he once get hiccups on the internet?
Did he once what? Sorry.
Did he once get hiccups on the internet?
No. Although
nothing on you, Mike.
He'd probably love to. But yeah,
I recognise the name Ambrose. Oh yeah, he's a dickhead.
he's wonderful. Honestly, he's wonderful. He's wonderful.
I like him.
But yeah, he said he saw Al Murray do Pub Landlord, and he went, think about it. He smashed it. Like, Al Murray destroyed everyone, and he says, think about it. Here's a guy in character, being funny, improvising. If that was Robert De Niro, they would be throwing gold statues at him.
Oh yeah. Like,
no one gives it the respect it deserves.
No.
It's so, not just
it
comedy, but it's really, really tough. I've seen some improv where it's what a magician would call a multiple out. So it's like whatever they get given fits into something they've already designed, right?
Oh, right, like yeah.
But when you see good improv, it's brilliant. And when you see a comedian kind of start going off the rails,
can we organise a group trip to go and see Hannah and Adam improv?
Yes, let's do that. Yeah.
Yay!
Can we get VIP?
Yeah.
VIP.
I mean, I'm not sure what that would entail, but like we could save you a nice seat.
On there.
Actually, Mike's the one person where you haven't got to save him a seat. He brings his own.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It's not even what I need. It's just what I need to function. In order to go to things. Nice things. Not to make too big a thing of it, like.
So what?
Yeah, of course you can.
How would you rate your improv group? Be honest.
How would we rate ourselves on a scale of 1 to 10?
Because every show is so different. I think it's practically impossible. There's only been, so must be on like show
lots,
like 15, nearly 20.
Yeah.
And I think we've had 2 shows.
Oh, Adam. Oh, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we've had better shows than...
Everyone froze on my screen then, which is a bit worrying because my screen's the one that's been sent out. So you've done 50 shows, did you say, or 15?
15, 20.
Yeah. With tiny stories, yeah.
With tiny stories, yeah. And I think maybe 2 times I've left and gone, oh,
Some have been better than others. There was a show we did where we were loving it and the audience were not loving it. But I just found that hilarious.
Yeah, that was Coventry, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we didn't know that it was like a family audience.
It was a family charity night, and we'd been told none of the
charity night, and we hadn't been told it that.
So I think you had a bit where you called a fox a shit. Loudly.
I turned into like an aristocratic fox and just started shouting at everyone.
And the only bit they laughed at a lot was when me and Jen were having a row as an old couple, but like she was trying to break up with me, and I was too busy talking about Messerschmitt 102s.
Yeah, and the only thing they laughed at was the numbers that Adam was saying. So he started just saying random numbers all the time, and they would laugh at every number, and we were all looking at each other like, what part of this is funny? How do we harness it?
It was so weird.
Oh.
But for every one of those gigs, you've had maybe 5 where I've left and gone, yeah, couldn't have been better. The audience loved it. It was really, really good. Like the group cohesion worked really well.
Yeah. You have to have good and bad, otherwise you wouldn't learn anything.
Yeah. That's what I've learned sort of doing poses. But it's probably the closest I'll get to, this isn't a joke, to stand up. Like, in the sense that like it's sort of just me, and like if I want to sort of riff on stuff that I've got, then I can.
You're only like relying on yourself and what you can.
But equally, there's other gigs where it feels like the most unnatural thing to do in the world. And it's like what I'm doing here. I'm literally saying stuff, most of that rhymes in front of a room full of strangers. How is this? But, yeah. And nights it goes really well. Then writing it. Buy me book. I've got a book out.
It's a plug.
It's on my bookshelf outside the room. In fact, hold on. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah,
back
go
get it. Yeah, it's on my bookshelf outside the room.
Kirsty Mealing has asked us to rate our improv groups in order of daddy. So I think that I think Tiny Stories is the most daddy, and then
I think.
Look at that.
Yay!
I think the clones is quite daddy. The clones are very daddy.
Oh, I thought it was just our groups. Not all groups.
No, because the question was rate your daddies in order of improv groups, not rate your improv groups in order of daddy.
No, that's above that. Scroll up.
I can't say it. No, I refuse.
I'll break everything if I scroll up. I can't do these things. No, right, Steph, stand up, right?
Right. It's been a while.
It's been a while for both of us, to be honest.
It's been a while for everyone on the planet.
Did you ever improv when you were doing stand up? Other than that one time, other than a particular gig. I mean, was you at a gig and just started going off?
What do you mean by other than that one time?
So other than the comic relief gig where you had to wear
no, yeah, Tiverdale Football Club.
Go on.
Like then. I think I was on 3rd, maybe second. I definitely wasn't on 1st, and it was just the most raucous group of football lads I'd ever seen, and like my material was not. I mean, parts of my material was for them. Like I pretty much ended up like going, "You're coming home with me." He didn't, but like it was just like there was moments where I remember there's a comedian called Harriet Dyer. I don't know whether any of you know it. She always explained to me that comedy for her was like operating a filing cabinet. So like you're constantly going flick, 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 flick. What's working? So like as I was watching these guys, like just. It wasn't stand up. It was crowd control. Like as they were doing it, like I was going flick, 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 no, flick, no, flick, no, flick. I'm gonna die on my arse out here. So I just went on, and then they were all drunk. So I just went right. you, and you. I'm picking on you for the next 10 minutes. And that was all it was. We just talked, and it was probably the best gig I ever had. So I really needed to stop telling jokes. Like, just yeah, but like, yeah. So like, but yeah, there's others where like, but like, you know, you can tell the same joke in 3 different settings, and 2 of them will tank. But the one that makes you come off and you're like, I should have my own TV show. Like, that's the one that makes you go, I'm not going to cut that joke because I like it. Like, it doesn't work like that. But yeah, like, it's just weird.
I mean, comedy's just a horrible industry. You know,
Yeah.
I remember thinking like, I think it was over 4 years I did 150 odd gigs. And I know Rob Kemp, lovely Rob Kemp, had done something in the same amount of time, had done it over 500, I think. And he was still classed as a beginner.
Yeah,
and you're like,
I think that's the difference.
And it is just such a... And like you say, you go to different rooms, and the gig that's... The joke that's smashed 5 rooms dies on its arse. Telford. Fucking Telford.
I love Telford.
Telford is not a comedy town.
Telford was also one that I didn't do a joke in. That Gong show that we both did, I didn't do a joke in. I told the guy his fly was undone, and it was. But like, it was his fault. He picked a fight. I spotted it and went, I'm taking you down.
Was
that was all it was.
Was that the Gong show where I was just shouting at the card holders?
Yeah. Because they sort of put it up and then you shouted at them and they put it back down again.
So
that's not how it meant to work.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Gong shows, 3 audience members have cards. And if the 3 audience members put the cards up, you have to leave the stage. And 2 of them put the cards up, and I then spent the next 5 minutes absolutely going mental at the 2 with the cards. Like, what the fuck do you know about comedy, eh? What do you know? All you know about comedy is you once bought a Chubby Brown DVD and you tried to do the racist joke about the Pakistani shop worker, and the next day at work and you didn't get a laugh, and then you come here and you're judging me. You're judging me, are you? You're judging me.
That sounds like Telford, yeah. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
When I did the Gong show at the Comedy Store in Manchester, the one where Roger Swift won, there was a group of students.
What?
Yeah, there was a group of students, and I fucking wanted to burn them, right? Because there were these horrible people who they sit in the dark, and if there was one joke, if there was one thing you said that was just slightly edgy, they were like, card. So as I walked off the stage, I just looked at them and called them right bedder cunts. and I think if I'd have been emceeing that...
may contain tasteful language. I feel like we should put that out now.
If I'd have been emceeing that, I'd have let me carry on.
Of course, you'd have let you carry on.
A bed of cunts.
But it's like back at the comedy store in London when they did their first Gong show. Like Alexi Sale used to get gonged off quite often because the rowdy people were like, "No, gong them all, fuck it."
Yeah,
and he was the combat.
The little of it I know of. It's not about the comedy. It becomes about, after a while, it becomes about the person.
Yeah.
Right.
There's quite a difference, like, depending on what the audience is. Like, if you've got a really drunk audience, like, you have to be quite different, I think, in how you approach your... Like, we did an improv gig at a rugby club in February, and it was, like, just full of really drunk...
That was probably my favourite gig.
It was
probably
fun.
My favourite Tiny Stories gig. Because it went to... You'll know, the peaks and troughs you get with a drunk crowd.
Yeah.
But they were, because it's improv, though, imagine those peaks and troughs, but zoom.
Yeah.
It was like extreme.
I had to ban someone from speaking in the audience. I was like, not you. Every time we asked for something, I was like, has anyone not you got a...
Like, all of us were on crowd control. Like, all of us. We're just constantly going, okay, you guys have had a lot of fun, but we aren't. So we're going to ask one of that.
Like, you're clearly having a wonderful time. there's always some guy who sits like at the back and just shouts dildo for everything. And it's like, how many do you think I've not heard that before? Like, do you think I've not had someone shout dildo at me in every single gig I've done pretty much? Like, do you think you're clever? And I said that to him on stage. How many times do you think I've had someone say that? Do you think you're clever? Do you think you're clever? Do you think you've won? Are you the winner?
What I'm a big fan of for those gigs is just being the person the audience likes to boo in a pantos fashion. So we're at this rugby club, and all around the wall. So one of the players who played rugby then went to play for the Scotland national team.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
I spent like about 5 minutes doing this back in like this game. You got to be like for something against it, and I made sure to end it with a huge dig on Scotland rugby, and the whole room was like.
Oh, they've got like a signed shirt on the wall above us. They've got like a shrine to him and all of Scotland.
Did you make out?
Yeah. We ended up. Someone came up to us and was like, "You guys were great. Like, totes great. I'd love to go to this, but like, really, like, we want to get you guys in for like some corporate thing. Like, you could give our guys some training. It'd be great."
Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Here's my business card. Absolutely amazing. If you know what I mean. The business card is great for.
Completely. Yeah, I love a joke. Yeah, I love jokes. Like, do you like Michael McIntyre? Yeah. I love jokes. Yeah. I really love it.
Yeah, totes great. Yeah. I know jokes, but they're a bit blue for here. So
I like jokes. Like garlic bread.
Oh, it's great.
Garlic bread.
Absolutely great. Oh, great.
It is the worst thing.
Great.
Even as an open micer coming off stage and people going, "Oh, it was really good. That was. I've got one for you." No, it was me who kept shouting, like clunge or something. Like, oh, was it? Oh, thanks. Appreciate it.
So when I used to stand up back in Shropshire. Oh, sorry, Mikey.
I get that too. Like people like offering me ideas for plays. So.
Yeah. Write this one down. I
only want 10%.
Yeah.
Could be an agent.
It's always like, oh, you could write me into one of your plays. I'd be a good character.
I'm zany.
Okay.
I was once sat next to a woman in a theatre, and like she's like, we were like talking about theatre and stuff, and I said like, you know, I'm a writer and whatnot, which is like a conversation is awkward anyway, but like when you sort of drag into it, you feel like you have to. She was like, then she looked at her husband next to her and went, "Oh, Graham, we sat next to a writer."
Oh, you were the highlight of their life.
Hello. And then she's like, I wrote a play once, but because it was on paper, I lost it in a house move. And it was just like, oh no.
Oh, what are you supposed to say to that?
I know.
Oh, that's a shame.
It was only the
You
intro.
should word process it then, shouldn't you stupid freaking idiot?
What? Back up your word.
Did you see that story?
Put it on a memory stick.
Did you see that story a couple of years back of a blind woman who had written her like novel on a typewriter, and then it like taken like about a year. Then her daughter came around to see her because from Australia, and she found out the ribbon on the typewriter had gone, like about a quarter of the way through. And the police, but the local police were like, "We're going to try and use like the techniques where you like look at the paper to see the imprints and work out what was actually written." They managed to rescue They rescued the whole book.
Oh,
and it was shit.
Dave, why have you got to do that?
It was just racism, just pure. It was 400 pages of just racism. Why can you? No, I'm not even going to say it because I know someone will clip it. I know someone will clip it. That's the worst thing with that content.
You talked about killing a baby last week. I think it's not advisable.
I didn't talk about it. I showed how it should be done.
I think your actual words were, "I could kill a baby, why couldn't the magic man?"
That was definitely his words.
Yeah. I think I actually watched that clip today.
What you said earlier though, Mike, about poetry being a bit like stand-up, I get what you mean. And actually, funnily enough, Steph, the last time I saw Harriet Dyer, I had this conversation with her because she was in the comedy tent and I was on the poetry plinth.
Right.
So comedy had its own tent. Poetry
you didn't get a roof on yours.
Basically,
even covered from the elements.
Yeah. Comedy had a tent. We had a step ladder. We had a little step ladder that you kind of. I've been on the poetry step ladder, and I said the great thing about doing poetry is they don't expect you to be funny, so the expectations are lower.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So if you're funny, it's like a nice surprise.
Yeah. And Harriet Doe was like, "Oh, so that's why you're doing it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, basically." Because I tried stand up and I was shit at it, but everyone in the poetry world thinks I'm really funny.
Well, there you go.
Expectations.
The expectations are much lower. I also found I wrote a routine or tried to write a routine about Lord of the Rings. Like, that's a good idea. And didn't even bother performing
I love Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, because it was
it's
like
a very niche subject,
yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
a bit shit, right? And then I was doing Tuesday night at the Roadhouse, which was always a experience. And there was 2 bars at the Roadhouse. So they've got the main bar where they have all the bands and everything, and then they've got this little bar which is where they put the comedy.
Then the bar in the smoke room.
Yeah. Hey. And and what happened was a stag group came in. I mean, it was a stag party on a Tuesday, but there you go. Yeah. Stag party came in, all dressed as Lord of the Rings characters. And as I'm on stage doing my routine, the doors open and 40 blokes walk in dressed as Lord of the Rings characters.
No fucking Gandalf.
And you were like, I'm prepared for this.
Exactly. And then, even though
the universe is
this
aligned,
material wasn't very good, because everyone thought I was doing it off my top of my head, they was all fucking killing themselves laughing. And that was the lesson I had in kind of.
Whereas you've been at home being like, right, how can I link Gandalf to?
So that was when I got that kind of lesson in audience expectations. So yeah,
I'll be honest. Like, the death of stand up for me, like as in like me doing it, like, and was not only just because I've got like a teaching job and couldn't justify the M6 at 2:00 in the morning. We were going to get up at 6. Like, was being pulled aside by a woman, and it was in Telford, and being told that what she'd listened to was the most offensive thing she'd ever heard because she felt personally attacked. Now, I must say that all of my stand-up, and Dave will verify this, was about me. So it was. I went for the basics. I went for the fact that I was single. Like, I went for the fact that, like, my appearance. I went for, like, the ones that everyone likes to laugh at. She pulled me aside and was like, as a woman, I think I just need to say, and, like, just reeled up. And her husband was stood there the entire time, like, about 3 foot behind her, just kind of going, like, you could see in his eyes, he was just blinking the words, I'm so sorry. Like,
he probably has to go through that everywhere they go.
But like, yeah, so in the end I was like, so why are you getting offended on my behalf? And she was like, well, I'm not. I'm getting offended because you've personally attacked me. I was like, no. At no point have I mentioned you. At no point have I looked at you. I couldn't even tell you where you were sat. But like, for me, that was the thing of, I'm now having to censor my own jokes about myself because everyone else is projecting their own insecurities from them to me. And after that, I was just like, I can't do it. And then there was times where it became a little bit casting couch, and I was like, no.
Yeah, I have seen it recently. All the UK comedy forums, like, just it's all coming out, and it's fun to watch. Mainly because I'd forgotten I was part of these groups, and also
honestly, and I'm not going to name and shame because I don't want it to become that, but there was at least 2 comedians on our Wolverhampton circuit, like West Midlands circuit, who had a bet of who could sleep with me first, and I didn't find out later. Yes, It was the Hawaiian shirts that won it. Roger, if you're listening, I missed you. But like, yeah. So there was and I didn't find this out until years later. And then it was flippant comments from other comedians when they were going, "Oh, won't you just sleep with so-and-so?" Or, "Oh, so-and-so says that they like you." That I actually realised that other people were then becoming invested in the game. And that becomes quite frightening. Yeah,
I'd like to point out, I was not aware of any of this going on because other comedians didn't talk to me. Yeah, you told me about it.
Yeah. When you turned up to my school's training session and we looked at each other and went, I know you. I know you. And then you pulled me up for every demonstration. Show everyone how completely computer illiterate I absolutely am. Right, Steph, you're going to come up and use the interactive whiteboard. And then you found out I'd unplugged it because I didn't know how to use it. So you then had to reset up my interactive whiteboard in front of everyone. So yeah.
Question from Kirsty: Is there an art form you've not done yet, or you'd like to do that you're too intimidated to do?
Dance.
Oh my god, you should do a duo. Yeah, you should do it. That was
I know people.
Mike, you've got a GCSE in it. You could teach her.
Oh yeah. And I sent videos to the group chat, so you know now.
Yeah, you did. It was like a weird fever dream, that video. I got genuinely angry watching it at how shit it was.
It gave me flashbacks to my BTEC.
Like I gave you a review of this is poorly shot. This is very simple. I wrote a lot more, like an essay about how terrible the production on that was. Didn't even look at the dance. Just went, this is filmed on a camcorder by a drunk man on a ferry.
It was the 90s.
We don't need to focus. Oh, it's fine. It's the fucking worst.
It's fine.
Singing. I would love to be a singer.
I loved singing.
I would love to be a singer.
You should just
front
sing.
man in a rock band. I'd have killed for that. I'd have killed for that when I was younger.
The dad books.
So what would be your song? Like, if you'd written any rock song out there, which one would it be that you would sing as part of your band?
Oh, that's a good question.
And anyone else can answer as well.
Yeah, anyone else can answer. Come back to me. Let me have a think about that. I'd love to have been able to sing like Lane Stanley from Alice in Chains.
I was listening to Alice in Chains before we came on.
Yeah. Man in a Box. I don't know where he pulls that from in his body, but it's
there was a thing, wasn't there, that like one of their old roadies said that they used to have to turn Lane's mic down all the time because his voice was so mad that it was like overpowering everything else. That it was just like
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And the singer for Faith No More, Mike Patton.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal singer, and I mean, to be able to do what Mike Patton can do, he's supposed to have like a
versatile
6-octave range or something, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But although there's like songs I love, it's like, you know, Foo Fighters, where Dave Grohl can go from like kind of a soft voice to a real growl and I really admire that.
A lot sexier than that. Sorry, Dave.
Rawr.
Not like a dog that had potentially got something wrong with him.
We've just all Dave Grohl impression.
But I really wish I could have been a singer. That's the one thing I'd love to do. I tried to play guitar, and I've got a couple of guitars, and technically I've been playing guitar for like 30 years, and I'm still shit.
Dave. It's a process.
When I was about 11, I had about 4 piano lessons, and all 4 of them were just spent with me going, "Move left hand side, move." I couldn't do it. but then for a while, and then like you started releasing keyboards where you could press that button. That just means that that if you press a single note, it plays the chord.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is fine. But then you've still got to learn. And then it's just like effort. Like I just want to be able to like play Stairway to Heaven like that on piano, like within half an hour. And when it's not there, because then I found theatre and dance, so that's cool.
I really wish I'd learnt piano or like saxophone or something like that, because
to play piano.
I'm a drummer, which is great, but I now have, it gives you a really good knowledge of none of the notes, how to read music. You learn no music theory apart from rhythm, so I can tap out a rhythm. I mean, it'll probably be wrong, but I can tap out a rhythm. But you tell me to like do a C major, I'm like, I promote you to major. See.
Oh dear.
When my mate told me he could tune a drum, I lost my shit. I was like, what?
Yeah, you don't imagine that you can tune a drum, do you? And it's like, oh God, you have to tune them. Oh, I've got an electronic drum kit which is in a box in the cellar at the minute because we've got nowhere to put it. It's one of the things I'd like to get set up. I did enjoy my electronic drum kit. I'm not very good at it. I can do a 4/4, but
music for the soul, Dave.
Yeah. It's just kind of you just want to do that sort of thing.
It's the best. It's the second best stress relief in my life.
Playing the air drums. Just
because the music I like as well. In fact, I tweeted about this the other day. Someone put on YouTube a video in praise of Meg White out the White Stripes. And it really annoys me that everyone goes, she was a shit drummer. It's like, right, okay. Jack White has played with much better drummers, but the music he's produced has never been as good as what he did at the White Stripes.
Yeah.
It's what Meg brings to the White Stripes is totally unique. And it's like when people say Ringo's a shit drummer. It's like, no, he's fucking not. He's not.
No,
He's not.
He's a bit of a prick.
Ringo, no. What Ringo is Ringo is perfect for the Beatles, but Ringo is technically a shit drummer. That's the thing. Because I've seen a visit of a really, really like one of the best ones I've ever seen, and he's like, you can make these songs sound really complicated, and there's this really, really amazing, like subtle, like drum beat, and it's all slightly offbeat and sounds amazing. He goes, yeah, but it sounds shit compared to when you fit it in with the song. What Ringo does is make drums that fit perfectly to the Beatles, but he is shit. Isn't
that a sign of a good musician? He's playing for the song.
But can you imagine watching a Ringo Starr drum solo?
Ginger Baker in the Beatles wouldn't work, would it?
No, because he killed them all.
I hate drum solos. I mean, I really hate drum solos. To the point that Ginger Baker was playing live at the Robin 2, and I was like, fucking Ginger Baker's live. And I was about to get the ticket, and then it was like, oh no, he's going to do like 5 drum solos. Nah, forget that.
He's dead now, so
yeah. I went to see Focus. Remember Focus? Who did the song
Hocus Pocus by Focus?
Right?
Hocus Pocus by Focus.
Yes. Yeah. They were brilliant.
I think it's like a nose scoot out. Oh, beautiful.
I feel like I'm going to have to something.
Yes, you are. They were brilliant. If you've seen the film,
send you a list, Mike.
If you've seen the film Baby Driver,
I was probably in physio.
But I went with Chaz. I think you've met Chaz, Steph, old guy. Used to come to the comedy gigs with me, right? I went with Chaz.
You didn't need to say old guy. I just knew him.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I went to see Focus with Chaz, and he was brilliant right up until 3/4 of the way through when it was like, oh, they're doing the drum solo. So I went to the toilet because that's like the perfect time to go to the toilet. I had to queue for the toilet because obviously lots of people had the same idea I did. So bearing in mind, at the Robin 2, you've got to walk to the back of the room, you've got to walk upstairs, go queue for the toilet, go to the toilet, come back downstairs, go back into the room. The drum solo was still going on.
Oh no!
For God's sake!
Have you heard the full version of Inagada Davida?
Oh, which is about 24 minutes long or something.
Yeah,
It's
so the original
ridiculous
single is 16 minutes long, and 5.5 minutes are artistic jazz fusion drum solo. And I really like a good drum solo, and I got a minute in and went, oh no. Because it's followed by a 4-minute bass solo, which is the only thing worse than a drum solo. Like a long bass solo is satanic.
To be fair, I'm not a massive fan of guitar solos. I think when the guitarists start getting a bit wanky.
Brian May is going to hunt you down.
Yeah, and Slash.
Oh, right.
Brian May and Slash and Angus Young are all now currently on the phone to each other, going, "We need to find him."
Right.
Like, that's
No. Let me get
There are 3 guitar solos in November Rain alone, and they're all great.
Oh, fucking November Rain can do one.
It's a terrible song.
Right.
Fuck you, man.
Wait,
Too long.
Look,
right?
I'm the one going
in
out
the
on stream. I
video,
will
when it
mute
starts
you all.
raining and the man jumps through the cake.
Why does he jump through the cake?
What more do you want from a video than a man leaping through a wedding cake for no reason?
I want Axl Rose to not be a complete dick.
Yeah, right. He's a prick. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, but like, there's some things that are just not achievable in this life, Adam. So you've just got to settle.
Look.
To be fair, I've never had the privilege.
What's not to love?
Right.
It's amazing. I've never had the
defend
privilege to
myself.
see Guns N' Roses. I have seen Velvet Revolver though with Slash, and like, like just before the lead singer like had all of his visas revoked because they couldn't let him in anywhere. Like, and like they started off, and I think it was Slither they started with. It was in Wolverhampton at the Civic, right before they did the renovations. So they've ruined the sound quality in there. And so, like, they started, and then all of a sudden, I don't know where he appeared from, there was just a spotlight on the stage, and there was Slash just going, like, at it on a guitar solo. And, like, I never overreacted to anything so much in all of my life. I was just like, this is the greatest moment of my life! Like, it was amazing. Like, and I'll never forget that, and that is my guitar solos.
Right, can I defend myself? I'm not saying all guitar solos are shit.
Cancel culture.
No, I'm not saying you shouldn't ever have guitar solos. It's when it all gets wanky. If you've ever seen one of the guitar gods live, if you go and see Steve Vai live, there's no doubt his technique is brilliant. He's really fast. It's great, and it's just wank. It's boring.
So what do you think about
a long time of him just saying like
This kind of goes back.
Like no words.
Yeah, this kind of goes back in a way to what we were saying about Meg White and Ringo. I love Jimi Hendrix. I absolutely love Jimi Hendrix. Right, but here's one, right?
God.
It's about servicing the song, and it's about emotion. There was a great thing that I once read, which was the opening chord of A Hard Day's Night. That. Right? No, technically minded musician would put that chord at the start of the song. It just doesn't work. It goes against all the rules, but it works, doesn't it? Right. And it's when you get guitar solos that are just like fast, really technical, but there's no emotion to them. And they go on forever, and you're just like, shut up.
But what do you mean by emotion?
You want to go on a journey, like?
Yes.
Like, 'cause
there's a difference between a Steve Vai solo and a Jimi Hendrix solo. In the same way, there's a difference between a technically gifted drummer drumming to the White Stripes and Meg White drumming to the White Stripes.
So it's about expression.
Yeah. It's like a vibe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When, in fact,
I think I've had this exact same conversation at like
when
2
I did
a.m.
1448.
It's funny, right? I feel like this was what university was supposed to be.
Yes.
This is BBC Radio 3.
When I did 1448 and I was directing, I actually asked for Man in a Box to be one of the songs that was the band.
I remember that because I was like, who the fucking hell has put Alice in Chains in this thing? That was my first 1448.
And, oops, oh crikey, I'm getting charges are falling on me.
That is all the musicians who you don't like coming to attack you.
Yeah,
That
they
was
just had a seance, Dave.
And
that was Jimi Hendrix's ghost.
No, I love Jimmy. I won't have a bad word said. And yeah, I asked for Man in a Box, and I kept saying to Drew, Drew's a brilliant musician. He's a brilliant singer, and I kept saying to him, it's not about hitting the note. It's about the emotion. It's about taking every single bit of hatred that you've got and putting it down that mic for that split second. And it's so
it's a little
so
bit about
much
hitting
more.
the note.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it sounds bad.
but if you just hit the note, it's not the same.
What I'm getting, guys, from this conversation is that the arts are fucking great.
The arts are fucking great.
This conversation.
Have we lost all of our listeners just because we've just gone on a rant about guitar solos?
Lost a couple. I've got to be honest. Sorry, everyone. There was a
my answer to the question that we never got round to was that I would do stand-up, but I'm too scared.
Aww.
Well, don't you find?
You should do it.
You could talk about being a Tory, and everyone would laugh.
Yeah, but everyone would hate me for being a Tory.
But don't you find that
it would be a lovable hate?
I'm not a Tory.
Improv isn't improv scarier than stand-up. Stand-up's prepared.
No, to me, no, I don't think so. Because we've got other people there. So I know, even if I'm doing because I do a 2-prov with beautiful Jen, and there's just the two of us, but she'll pick up where if I drop the ball, she'll pick it up. Whereas if I was doing stand-up, it's just me and my ideas alone with no one to tag in and save me.
Improv is purely the mantras of improv is you're on stage to make everyone else look as good as possible.
Yeah. It's all support.
Yeah,
whereas stand-up is just be like, hello, I'm Hannah and I'm really funny.
because improv is improvised.
That's a great intro.
Yeah,
exactly. That's a great intro.
Do it.
But would that work in Market Harbour Rugby Club in front of
Yes, I think he would for about a minute before they ate you to death.
The thing is that we just start yelling at people.
Yeah. Laugh! Because
I recognise Dave Pitt technique. It's fine.
I've often wondered how I'd cope in stand-up.
Yeah.
Genuinely,
but you've got so many cards you can play.
Well, yeah. I mean, let's be honest. There's one massive one that's staring us all in the face.
White male.
But it's again, I don't think I'd cope with hecklers anyway. If I was at Market Harbour Rugby Club, like you say,
yeah,
lose me shit.
I think
the thing with hecklers is lots of people assume that when you get a heckler, you put them down and improv off the spot. No. I had 4 or 5 stock phrases ready, and it depended on whether I was attacked by a male or a female. It depended on whether they got friends with them or whether they were in a couple. You had to you've got to be ready with some stock that you can just spread out across everybody. But it's not about improv. You're just prepared for the inevitable.
Yeah.
You also found that you could tell who the hecklers were going to be before you went on stage. There was one where I was in Bridge North. Oh God. And there was this guy who was being a right pain in the arse to everyone. But he did look a bit strange. So he did look like the love child of, I think it was Roy Orbison and Ozzy Osbourne. Right? He really did look like that.
That screams Bridgenorth.
I'd already made that distinction and kind of got it in my head. So when he attacked me, I just went off on this kind of oh yeah, because it's what I wanted to do. I wanted to drive all the way to Bridgenorth to be taken the piss out of by the love child of Ozzy Osbourne and Roy Orbison, and of course everyone thought it was off the cuff.
And you start singing like "Brummy Woman."
You see, Anna, you can do it.
Yeah, but that was riffing. That wasn't me by myself. That's what I mean.
Is we all need to do like a big act, and then it'd be
There's
fine.
nothing in Bridgenorth. Yeah. How can anyone from Bridgenorth have the confidence to heckle? There's fucking nothing there. No, they've got a cliff railway.
I'll tell you what's in Bridgenorth.
People say these place names, and I don't know.
Cobbles are in Bridgenorth.
Mike's nightmare.
Yeah.
Cobbles.
If you go to Bridgenorth, I remember when I first started going over there, because I was going over there quite regular for comedy, that it was like, oh, this is a really nice town. Oh, this would be a really nice place to live. And then the more time you spend there, the more you realise, hang on, there's a lot of pubs here for quite a small population.
It's like that where I live.
The town is lovely. It's like France.
Yeah.
It's ruined population.
There's a lot of drinkers.
It's an absolutely gorgeous place.
And I don't
where I live, there's just pubs and charity shops and estate agents, and that's it.
I'm aware we're just like talking shit about Bridgenorth here. Hello, Bridgenorth.
Yeah.
Hello, you industrious chappies.
Fuck, I like
You can take it.
We've lost another viewer.
I mean, to be fair, it was probably from Bridgenorth.
The mayor of Bridgenorth was in, everyone.
The internet in Bridgenorth is terrible. I never get a signal there. They're probably not watching. Like, it can't be fine. Like, but going back to the heckling thing,
in Bridgenorth is terrible.
You need to be careful as well that you need to have that happy medium of I'm shutting you up, but I'm not
inciting a dialogue.
Well, you've got to have that. No, I'm in charge. Which, obviously, don't bring a real whip. That would be weird. but also not not putting them down so much that the audience go, "Oh, that was mean," then siding with them because then you've got you might as well just When
I did,
and it's much easier to pick on a man than it is on a woman. Because women are vulnerable and you don't do that because it's mean. So you can stand there and go to a bloke, you're an absolute you can go, oh, you're a dick. But then if you go to a woman, shut up, you silly bitch, everyone goes, even to the imaginary woman I've just sworn at, everyone suddenly had sympathy for said imaginary woman. She's not real, but she's now everyone hates me.
In fact, two great stories about hecklers, both in Bridgenorth. Steph, you know one of them. You were there, I'm sure you were.
I mean, I don't think the one is in Bridgenorth. I think the one is in the Jewellery Quarter in Birmingham in the Brown Lion, and the drunken woman, and you went on and told her to fill her mouth with something else to keep her quiet.
Dave.
Not that one. Not that one. Not that one.
There was a worse one?
It wasn't me, this one. I'm sure it was Bridgenorth. There was a woman who was drunk and really disrupting the night. There was one bit where I'd actually got to the end and there was a long pause for the punchline. And you work hard on those pauses, getting the timing right. And she fucking shouted out during the pause and you're like, oh, God, fucking hell. And then Paul Crook went on after me. Right? And she carried on at Paul, and then she got a very gruff voice, and Paul Crook just said to her, why is your voice so rough? And she went, I had throat cancer. And you just felt the audience go. And then Paul Crook went, caught that too soon, didn't they? And he was like, oh my God. He went there. But she disrupted the night so much, it just got a massive laugh. And
I do remember that night. That was quite early on in his set as well. And I remember like about 3 of us stood there and we all went and then didn't breathe out until he left the stage. Like,
oh my god.
Oh no, what? Because like we hadn't gone on yet. So we were like, oh no, because
you were like filling the space left by that.
Yeah, because like not only had they upset the woman who got cancer, she was now even more angry. So now we got to deal with her. So like, yeah, that was a rough night.
Yeah. The other one in Bridgnorth, 2 years running, they had this arts festival, and they had this like comedy night as part of the arts festival. And the first year there was about 350, and this was like gig number 6 for me. You know what I mean? It was fucking mental. Year later I did it again, but I had a bit of a falling out with some of the people in Bridgnorth. So I was not best
like
pleased. Yeah, I know. And I didn't really want to do this gig, but I was aware that there was other people who was doing this gig, and if another comedian had dropped out, there wouldn't have been enough acts, and the whole thing would have got cancelled. So I ended up kind of doing it so it didn't get cancelled for other people, which you shouldn't do a gig for that anyway.
Very noble.
Yeah, they'd done a warm-up in the week, and I'd had a heckler, and I was like... And I'd kind of attacked the heckler, but not very much. And I kind of made this decision that I'm not easing up on any hecklers now. If they heckle, I'm going for it. I don't care anymore. And then I did this big gig like the second year, and a guy heckled me, and I took all the anger I'd got against these people I'd had this falling out with and just directed it right at this heckler to the point where I can't even remember what I said. I was just ranting, but I got to the point where this guy looked up at me and went, "Yeah, it's all right, mate, that's enough." And I'm like, "I'll fucking tell you when it's enough."
Oh no, Dave.
And when he on the Apollo?
I went off stage into the dressing room, or the kitchen as it was known. Yeah. And he came over to the kitchen, and a couple of the other acts went, "He's here." And I'm like, I don't fucking care. If he's going to hit me, he's going to hit me. So I went out, and he just shook my hand, and he went, "Oh, that was nice, that was, mate. Well done." Okay, fine.
Was he Scottish?
I don't know. I wonder if he'd come over thinking I wouldn't go out to talk to him, and he could have been all like, "Why are you coming out?" And I just walked out and just went, "You're right." But I also remember again Scott Ambrose at the Hollybush. We'd gone to the Hollybush the one Thursday night, and a few. So for people who don't know, Hollybush, it's a small pub in Cradley Heath, but it's got a legendary comedy night. I think up until coronavirus, it was still running, wasn't it, Steph? And when you start doing comedy, particularly around this area, you get asked, "How did you get on at the Bush?" Because it's like
I tanked every time.
There was a theory that the Bush didn't like women very much.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I've
I
heard.
was Exhibit A.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say that.
Like, considering the room was as big as someone's living room, and there was about 30 people in it, somehow they all still managed to get up and go to the bar as soon as I started talking.
I'm just really worried about what the evacuation plan is for
in fact, no. There was a great night the once where we was in the bush, and the landlord Dave, who's a legend, was carrying a flaming bit of wood through the pub. He took a piece of wood off the fire because it was too big, and he just carried it outside. It's just a flaming bit of wood, like the Olympic torch, being carried through the pub. You're like, this is amazing. Me and Scott had gone there the one week, And a lot of comedians had done rape jokes to the point where, I mean, it's like, yeah. And you're like, and even worse, they've done rape jokes where the rape victim was the victim of the joke. And you're like, what the fuck? And it was when I was still on Facebook, and me and Scott had actually had a conversation over the weekend about, that was a bit shit, that was, wasn't it? Oh, you know, I fancied it. Oh. And then we'd both gone off and written routines about it without kind of talking to the other one. It was just, you know, you have these conversations, you write a routine about it. And then I contacted him, like, on the Monday and went, I've written a routine about what we was doing. And he went, oh, so have I. So we kind of sent them to each other. And then that Thursday, we were both at the Bush again. And Scott says, do yours, because yours is better than mine. It wasn't. He said, do yours. I'll do mine somewhere else. Okay. And he was due on before me. And an act went up and started doing some really horrible rape jokes. And Scott was standing in front of me, looking at the stage. And I just see, like, his body starting to twitch. Right? And then he just turns around, he looks at me and he goes, I'm sorry, I've got to do this. And I'm like, go, Scott, go. And what followed, I can't even remember what happened. It was just 10 minutes of Scott Ambrose doing 110% Scott Ambrose, absolutely laying into every comedian in the room who'd done a rape joke. Fuck it. To one point, he got his shirt off. He was on a table. He'd stabbed himself with the microphone stand and was bleeding from the stomach. Right? And was screaming in these comedians' faces. And there's like, all these comedians were just like, and then there's like 4 of us at the back just going, this is the best thing ever. He just absolutely, every bit of anger he had in him, he just offloaded onto these comedians.
Wow.
And what was absolutely wonderful, he climbed on this table, just going absolutely bonkers, and he just paused for a second, and Dave behind the bar just went, don't stand on that table, Scott, it's likely to collapse. Sorry, Dave, gets off the table and just carries on, and he was like, oh God, this is just magical. That's what you don't get at Live at the Apollo.
If Johnny Vegas was on it more, you would.
I was going to say, yeah, there's a reason he's not invited a lot.
There's a reason why when he is invited along, he's not doing Johnny Vegas' character.
Yeah.
I.e., he's not hammered. Because did you see the footage of him, like the charity night where he does like Bernardo's or something, and he does like a 15-minute set, but he just yells at the audience being middle class and they're giving the money away to ease their guilt, and he goes into the audience and French kisses a woman and is then just escorted out gently. It's like, like he's clearly picked as well the 2 people who are there to see Johnny Vegas. Everyone else is in suits and these 2 are like dressed like Johnny is. And so they're like, they are loving it. They're laughing, like the guys, like whatever, go for it. And they are loving it, but the rest of the audience is just like,
He did a wonderful story there once when he was on the Richard Herring podcast, and he'd done this tour, and his driver, who was also the support act, right? They'd like turned up at this pub, and they hadn't even bothered like promoting it, so it was like there was hardly any people there, and a reviewer was in from the local newspaper. So Johnny Vegas clocked there was a reviewer in, and he has the same opinion of reviewers of comedy as I do, which isn't a great one. And then he found out that this person knew nothing about reviewing comedy. They actually wrote a pet section in the newspaper. Right? Within a couple of minutes, Johnny Vegas is then on all fours with a woman, and he's took his belt off, put it round his neck, and the woman is leading him around like he's a dog, right, on stage. At which point Johnny Vegas then goes, Spot's gonna do a whoopsie, pulls his bags down and does a shit on the stage. At which point, most of the audience leave. Right? He goes off stage, and his driver, stroke support act, says, "I don't know why you did that, Johnny. Your act doesn't need it." And then there was an argument about who's going to clean up the shit that's on the stage, and they were trying to tell the people who own the pub that, oh no, it's fake. But that's comedy.
The number of people who aren't sure, who aren't aware that Johnny Vegas is a character,
yeah,
is so high.
Wow.
It's I love that comedians who just when you go and see a comedian and you are genuinely unsure what's going to happen next. I adore that. That's...
I'm trying to remember where I saw because I've seen Scott Ambrose live once, and it just killed the room.
Yeah.
And I think that's yeah. But I don't go to a comedy night for that. I go for comedy.
Yeah.
If
James
I wait,
Acaster's a bit like that though, isn't it?
Oh no, I adore James Acaster. I've seen him fail.
No. I loved it. I went to see him in Stafford before Christmas, and it turned like there was a group of lads who clearly had been like drinking all day beforehand, who he just decided he hated, and by half time had walked off stage, pointed at the lot of them and told them all to get out, to which they didn't. And then when he came back on, within 2 minutes, some girl went, "You're shit," and the whole room fell silent. Because, like, you don't expect that at a professional comedian's night, do you? Like, and so, like, he stopped and was like, "Right, you've given me 2 minutes to come back out, and you've decided. So, what was your motivation for shouting?" So she obviously tried to justify herself and was like, "Well, I thought you'd be funnier." And he went, "Well, I thought you'd be more polite. So, here's the option. You can go and get a refund. I will give you a full refund, even though you stopped for a first half. But I think you should leave." So the whole audience started like clapping, because that's a decent response. Like he could have annihilated her, but he didn't. He gave her the option. Well, so everyone was like, "Yeah, leave. That was really mean. We're here to see comedy, and you're being horrible." Some bloke then stood up, like random out of the crowd, and went, "I don't condone group bullying." And we all went, "What?" Like,
but the individual bullying was fine.
And so then the lads at the front were like, "Hang on a second, we've had this all through the first half. How can you be?" And then James Acaster was like, "I don't think this is your time to talk to these lads." And like he was like, it spiraled so out of control. I was like, this is a bit like, these are all planted people. Like, there is no way that this is like not planned. But then everyone was kind of like, "She was horrible." And this random bloke was like, no, I don't. She's a terrible person. But like, I just didn't want her to be picked on by everybody. And like, there was a point where James Acaster was like, "Right, shall we just all stop, pretend that bit didn't happen, and I'll carry on with my jokes?" And everyone was like, yeah, let's do that. He did the rest of his set, and then he finished. And then at the end of the show, he apologised, because he was like, "Obviously, I focused on the wrong things tonight. I focused on the negative rather than the populace that were really nice to me." To which someone then went, "I've really enjoyed myself." And I was like, "What?" and then he left the stage. Like, and I've never heard a comedy crowd leave a theatre in silence.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I don't understand the impulse to heckle. Like, I've seen shows that were shit, but I've never had the impulse to go, "This is shit." Like, just, I don't understand where it comes from. Like,
there are people who
and I met someone once in a pub. Yeah, like, I met, like, the second worst New Year's Eve I ever had was in this pub with all these people.
Well, that's next week's story.
No, I can't tell. I can't tell the first one. It's too much. And it was like a lot of like friends of friends I didn't know, and was like people that knew the person I was with, and I was just like, oh, okay, this will be fine, but it wasn't fine, because they were all like, and there was one guy there who was like, oh, well, I don't see the point of going to a comedy show if you're not going to heckle. I heckle at every show. And I was like, you're the person I hate.
Because he just
and he was like, I was like, I'm not joking. And it was literally like, and his wife was there, and she was all like, yeah, he does. And I was like, blink twice for save me. It was like the worst person. And I was like, you're because I'd never been like, who are these people who heckle? And it was like, it's you drinking London Pride and not dancing on New Year and like refusing to leave the table that you're sitting down at
on New Year's Eve. What a wonderful time for celebration and revelry. I shall have a fireside.
And it's always London Pride. I fucking hate that beer so much because it just represents everyone I hate.
Like, when a comedian is on stage, that's their job. Like,
yeah.
Like, you've literally gone to their place at work and just shit on everything.
Yeah, and he was trying to justify it like, oh, well, if they say something back that's clever, then it's made the show better. And I was like, no, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't.
You're just trying to center yourself in someone else's creative outlet. And he was like, oh, I just think it's like really funny though. And I was like, I hate you.
It's like someone turning up to my English lesson, yelling hyperbole and then leaving and thinking,
they've taught
that would be
taught
quite
the class
funny,
better than I have. I mean,
just walking in and going,
I invite you all to do it. Like,
oh my god, oh, that's here, and then just walk.
Imagine doing that to a pilot or a neurosurgeon.
Just like opening the cockpit and going, bit of a bumpy takeoff. I don't understand it. Like, I'll never understand it.
Go on, Adam.
I've been involved in a crowd that's heckled, but both times the heckle has been at me in the crowd and for valid reasons that the comedian has facilitated. So I was at Fringe and I've been drinking all day. I've been silent, laughing where I was meant to be, and then went to the toilet halfway through the gig. And I was like, "I'm really sorry, but it's like 1 a.m. I need the toilet." I was like, "Whatever, cool, go for it." I came back, sat down, and my mate leant over and said, "Just so you know, I've told them all you have one bollock." Really quietly, and so the guy, so the comedian, I forgot his name, he was hilarious, went, "How was the trip to the toilet?" And then everything normal. I was like, "Everything's completely normal, what are you talking about?" And from the back, in a really thick Scottish accent, I said, "One ball." And so I was like, "What?"
I'm going to do that to you in every gig that we have. I'm just going to stand at the back and go, "One ball."
And that's the only time I've ever been in a show and gone, yes, the heckling here has been approved. And it's worked really nicely.
But there's lots of comedians that you would expect to like want hecklers, but don't. Like, I admit I've been to see Roy Chubby Brown. It wasn't my choice. I was invited. They bought me a ticket before I said yes. But there is a sign on the door that as you go in that says, "If you heckle, you'll be removed." And I was like, but that's his thing. Like, I was really confused. And actually, to the point where he was telling a joke, someone yelled out, and he went, "Oh, what did you say? What did you say?" And so he said it again. He went, "Give me a wave. I can't see where you are." And so this guy went, and his true drunken EDL Britain First way, and like, so he was like, "Whoa!" And Roger around went, "There he is, remove him." And everyone went, "Oh." Like,
oh my god,
it was really weird. And so security came over and dragged this guy out of his chair and threw him out. And it was like being in a new class and the teacher has the kid that's the lamb to the slaughter in front of everybody. I mean, I've never done it because it's cruel, but like they like absolutely berate a child in front of everyone, like to assert their dominance. And everyone kind of went, "Oh," like, and then just every time he paused, everyone went, "No!" And then fell silent and waited for like the appropriate time to make noise.
I need my cue before I make a sound.
Yeah. Anyone who got up wasn't allowed to return to their seat, had to go to the back of the hall.
What if everyone heckled?
I mean, I was waiting for the I am Spartacus sort of.
I was just gonna say.
Like, you can't kick us all out. Like, yes.
I mean, what a wonderful way to leave a Roy to the Brown show. Just because that's perfect. Just if we talk, we get to leave. Telephone.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Just be like, freedom!
I'm going to recite the yellow pages.
But because he has, like, isn't he still doing like a DVD a year?
Oh yeah, like he does a Christmas show at the Civic most years. Like he's only not done it in the last few years because
it's been renovated.
It's been closed. Yeah. Like but like he does a Christmas show like every year. Like it used to be Chubby Brown, Ken Dodd. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's two
obviously
ends
not the same night. That's two very different shows. Like but I know that the Civic staff always used to say if Ken Dodd was on, you try and swap your shift.
Because he goes on so long.
A man went past 11.
Yeah, I've heard that.
He was like, no, you're all sat. You're in my world now. Like, that was it.
Yeah.
My
mate could do 4 or 5 hour long shows.
Yeah, a mate of mine saw him at the Civic, and he said he came on 45 minutes late, and just walked up to the mic and went, Ken Dodd is currently stuck in traffic on the M1 and will be here in an hour. Walked off stage.
I mean,
I never saw the appeal of Ken Dodd.
Days at work.
Yeah,
yeah, I liked him. I liked his song.
Don't see it.
I think,
I don't get that.
No, I understand what you're saying with Ken Dodd. One thing I would say, and people don't give enough respect for, is if you want to know how to tell stories on stage, Ronnie Corbett.
His monologues.
I can imagine that.
The two Ronnies, his monologues are brilliant. Yeah. And his delivery of them and everything. It's just amazing to watch. You don't get that sort of thing anymore.
His slippers look very comfy.
You don't get that sort of thing anymore, which is a real shame. Go on, Mike.
Would you please read Adrian Mole in the voice of Ronnie Corbett? Thank you very much.
Oh, that's the gift to the world.
Well,
you have to
get
do
ready. Get ready.
Get into it.
I can't do Ronnie Corbett. I will practice Ronnie Corbett.
Please
Tuesday.
Do. So there you go, Tuesday. There's something to look forward to.
I cannot promise it will not be a man going, what the hell?
That's pretty good.
He's our very own Mikey Arwood, isn't he?
Yes. Says we've got my Hannah here, and you're saying I'm the person who does impressions. We've got the voice actor.
Yeah, but I only do impressions of really obscure people that no one knows. That's my problem.
Like the Marks and Spencers advert.
Yeah. And Charlotte Green.
Doing impressions of people nobody knows is a bit of a waste of time.
It's pointless, yeah. I can do really good impressions of like... What?
Do you remember that terrible Armando show we did for the faces, and we had a comedian on? So we get like 20 minutes.
No!
20
Don't say her name. Don't say her name.
I don't know her name. 20 minutes of comedian. Then like we do 3 scenes. Then they'll make up 10 minutes. We'll do scenes based on blah blah blah. And she was an impressionist, but she A, turned up really late, and B, had to say the name of the person she was doing the impression of first, otherwise you wouldn't get it.
Yeah, she was like half an hour. We were half an hour late starting because she turned up after we were meant to have started and then sat there doing her makeup, and we were like, we should have been on stage like 15 minutes ago. And she was like, oh, what? Oh, right then, but I've only just got out my car. And we were like, yeah, we know. And then she just, and we didn't even know who the celebrity, well, I didn't know who the celebrities were anyway. When she said their names a lot of the time, she'd be like, but it would be literally like, oh, I wonder what Sharon Osbourne would think about this. Well, let me tell you, I shout like that's not her voice, but obviously I'm not the impressionist. But yeah, it was like, oh, maybe Kylie Jenner would think, like I don't know what anything sounds like.
Pretty much hang on.
Hannah, you've almost written your entire stand-up show tonight. You are
just taking the piss out of other people's stand-up.
I can teach you how to do one impression now, and it's John Malkovich. And to do John Malkovich, you just speak really, really close to your teeth. Everything is really big, and everyone goes, that's how he speaks. That's him.
Old Malky, all right.
We're not doing
Every film I'm in, I speak really bigly. Can you imagine him doing Hamlet? To be or not to be, that is the question. Just donk.
Adrian Mole in the voice of John Malkovich.
Oh, no, I can't keep searching Adrian Mole porn bits. Adrian Mole, best quote.
You definitely can.
I can't do it every week. No, I've got to save it for Ronnie Corbett because it's not that funny. Just me going, "How did I beat you?"
Save it for Ronnie. Ronnie would be better.
Simple. Save it for Ronnie.
Save it for Ronnie.
I can't remember who it is. I have to think. Save it for Ronnie.
Okay, we have been going 2 hours 10 minutes. So do you want to wrap this up? Shall we wrap this up? That was like Smoking and Locking, where we just talk shit for 2 hours. If you want to listen to us talk shit with a little bit of planning, join us next Tuesday. When are we doing the normal show next Tuesday? Where we're doing stories. Steph, have you got a story?
Still make this.
I'll have a think. I can't remember anything interesting that's happened to me. I'll have something. I just need to pressure think. It's like ordering. It's like ordering stuff at in a restaurant. I always go last because I've decided, but I haven't decided. So then I need people to pressure me into
bolster you.
It's a thing. It's a thing. It's fine. It's gonna be fine.
Mike, have you got a story for next Tuesday?
Something's bound to happen between now and then.
I went shopping.
Adam,
I got a story. Yeah.
Oh, look at that!
You haven't thought of it in.
Oh, look at that!
Well, I had two last week, didn't I? So I'm just going to use the one I didn't do.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hannah,
when have I ever got a story? I just think, what's another time where I've been incredibly embarrassed about who I am as a person? That one will do.
I think you got the Rolodex.
I've got one idea, but it's not very long. But it's sort of funny in a way that it makes me out to be a terrible person. So that kind of fits the bill.
That'll do.
Yeah.
I think I've got one. Yeah, I think I've got one.
Yeah.
What's yours
about? We'll have to see because I have done. Me and the tattoo bride went out today and shot a video.
Ooh.
What sort of video, first of all?
Born in West Park.
Do you remember when those kids in Seattle found that dead body in a suitcase a few weeks back?
No.
Yes. It was on TikTok.
Oh yeah, on TikTok.
Yeah, and they were using that.
Okay, that has passed me completely by.
Okay, yeah. So they were using an app called Randonautica, which sends you to a random place. And they went to this random place and found a dead body in a suitcase.
Didn't they find another suitcase further down? Once they started looking, they found other suitcases, and they've sort of accidentally uncovered a serial killer.
Yeah.
Question: is that not just a shit sat nav?
Sorry.
Is that not just a shit sat nav?
It is kind of a shit sat nav. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It takes you somewhere, but you just don't know where. Well, me and Fee used Randonautica today.
Oh.
What did you find?
Well, you'll have to wait until Tuesday.
Tune in next week.
Hey.
That's such a good idea for the story.
Or subscribe to my YouTube channel because I've started editing the video and the video will probably be up before next Tuesday. But
and to avoid spoilers, don't watch the news. Or read the Express and Star.
Yeah. I wouldn't be in the Express and Star anyway. If I had to be in the Express and Star, I would be a man who refused to be named. I won't have anything to do with that frigging rag. The sooner it's closed down and kicked out of my city, the better. It's just a hive of race hate and misogyny. Fuck the Express.
Not a fan.
No.
Not a fan.
Is it a Trinity paper?
Yeah.
They're all pretty much terrible, aren't they?
Well, what it is, it's not. I don't think it's even owned by a local company. I think it's like a company in Bath. But it is just like until the election last year, we had a Labour MP who was committing the mortal sins of A, being Labour, B, being a woman, and C, being black. I mean, you know, and the Express and Star could barely maintain their race hate. They were trying not to say it, but it was seeping out of the sides of the articles that they were writing about her. But then, if you happen to scroll past those articles and go into the comments, then it was just. And I mean, only this week there was something about. So the Black Country flag, for instance, has got chains on it, because obviously chain making area. But then there's a debate to be had about, well, what does that say about slavery? And there's definitely a debate to be had about the Black Country, chain making, slavery, because the money in Victorian England came from areas like this. It came from exploitations of the working classes. Fucking Robert Tressel, raggy trousered philanthropists. And it came from slavery. It did. And should we have chains on the Black Country flag? It's a debate. I'm not saying we should or we shouldn't, but it's a debate we should be having. But not according to the Express and Star. According to the Express and Star, it's just like...
But if you listen to lots of black communities, they're not asking for these debates.
No, they're not.
They're asking for changes in policy.
Exactly.
They're not asking for archaic programs to be removed. They're asking for changes in policy and for murderers to be arrested.
Yes.
Like that's the difference. But it's like
I think you'll find we've fixed racism because I've stopped calling it the master bedroom.
Exactly, it's stuff like that. We're not allowed to call it like programs have been removed, and some of them rightly so, and then they've been reintroduced with a reasonable explanation as to the context of them. But at no point has any person who's been oppressed because of their race gone, you know what, I think we should take down Gone with the Wind and that will make me feel better. Yes. No,
they haven't taken it down.
People.
Like, there's nothing nowhere near like the whole manifesto of Black Lives Matter as it mention anything like that. It's
just empty gestures to make us look like you're being so unreasonable. Look at all the things we've done,
and
all the things that's been asked for,
and also to shift the debate.
Yeah.
To make it about something else. But that they did an article in the Express and Star which was horrific. And then the comment section afterwards was, and the fact that they're not censoring those comments. So if I was ever in the Express and Star, it would be a man who refused to be named, a man who refused to give our reporters the time of day, a man who for some reason walked up to one of our chief reporters and nutted him in the face.
I think you're a bit on the fence about this, Dave. You're a little bit on the fence for me.
That's how you really feel.
From a man whose haircut is copying Hitler's, I don't like it.
Did he have the blue streaks as well?
He did. It was photoshopped out of the photos.
Well, they were all black and white, so you couldn't tell.
Stalin's mustache was rainbow.
You couldn't tell though, because he was all in black and white them days.
It's all in grayscale.
Yeah,
and they just put the contrast really high up.
And do you think that Hitler had a chaotic boy T-shirt on?
Not in public. You're thinking of Ernst Rohn.
That was the T-shirt he wore where he painted, which was also not publicised as well because arty people aren't mean.
He lived at one time. There was on the same block in Vienna. Karl Marx, Hitler, not Karl Marx. Lenin, Hitler, Sigmund Freud, and someone else. Like another famous philosophy person. You're like, that must have been a fun place to live.
Absolutely.
Oh,
that is the world's best sitcom. Just waiting.
What can I say? All the cutlery should be on the right.
So was it when they were all really young? So it'd be like Muppet Babies, but with like.
It'd be like Golden Girls, but with much more racism.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Autism. Oh God.
Could you imagine running a pub in that area, and just you'd have signs everywhere. Just do not mention politics, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're breaking up fights every night.
Don't even go there.
Whereas the signs of old that were the no this, no that, no the other, that list would be like this big. Like it would be never ending. Just no.
Just replace it with no talking. It becomes Bernard Black Swan from Black Books. None of this. None of that. None of the rest.
Right.
Whatever you're thinking about, no.
Come on, 2 hours, 20 minutes. We've been rabbiting on for. Let's wrap this up. So yeah, we're doing this again next Tuesday, but we're doing the proper one where we've got stories. If you think this is worth a coffee, then buy us a coffee at coffee.com/stories from the smoke room.
Thanks, Kirsty.
Yes, thanks, me.
Thanks, Kirsty.
Thanks for sticking around, folks, because it has been a long one tonight. See you all Tuesday, 7:30, back on Twitch. We're on that there Twitter, we're on that there Instagram. Follow us. Tell us that you love us.
See you next Tuesday.
Yes, so bye everyone. Bye. Bye. Bye.